It's been 21 years since John Moore was the trainer in a winning Hong Kong Cup photo, but Designs on Rome has him in high spirits that he can win his second. Although the Hong Kong Horse of the Year won the Derby and QE2 Cup last season, he hasn't won in 3 starts this preparation.
Well, we know from the 1400 metre race was a little bit of a surprise where he ran so well, but that's a fresh, top-class horse and they can do something like that.
Gold Fun first. Oh, Designs on Rome flashed home at the end.
The mile was really what I expected. You know, he was favourite in the day, but the fact of the matter was the season before, we'd never ever looked at him over a mile.
Military Attackers dived at Gold Fun. What a great finish.
But his last run, he only got, what, 3/4 of a length, over 2,000, against the horses that I think he's got to beat on the day.
Blazing Speed puts his head in front, and Blazing Speed takes out the Jockey Club Cup. He bloused out Military Attack and Endowing. Close up California Memory and Designs on Rome.
Joe Moreira has sorted a lot of horses out very quickly here in Hong Kong, but Designs hasn't been so straightforward. The Brazilian, though, has studied his charge very hard.
He's gone back and reviewed the films, past races with Tommy Berry, and really focused on what Tommy was doing and how he was getting a result as against what Joe was trying to do in his first few rides on the horse. But I think he's got the game plan right now. I'm pretty sure that if he stokes him up around the 700 or whatever and gets around the field and gives him a bit of a breather at the on the corner and then kicks, I think it'd be very, very hard to beat.
It's a cup full of quality, though, with Military Attack, Blazing Speed, California Memory and Endowing other leading local hopes. Cirrus des Eggs will be trying to win in Hong Kong at what will be his 4th Cup start when the gates fly. David Hayes will present Criterion, and Hideki Fujiwara Archimedes, a headstrong thoroughbred that has run with much credit against the best going round. It'll be a classic 2 minutes of sport, the Longines Hong Kong Cup.
Yes, there'll be a lot of Dubai interest in the performance of Archimedes, who's first up for 9 months. Yeah,
we're claiming him, owned by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed. He's really interesting. He hasn't run since March, as you say. Could just be under the radar, improving. And I thought it was a great quote from the trainer who said, we were invited here for the QE2, but the horse was tired, so we didn't come. So we assume he's over that now.
Yeah, and a good point that he's been able to win from a long layoff before first up. Yeah, I think if that's what they want to do, then fine, but it's fascinating. Here's the barrier draw that came out yesterday morning, and Cirrus des Eggs once again is drawn nicely in 4, Designs on Rome 3, Military Attack 8, Blazing Speed out in 12 along with California Memory, Criterion in barrier number 9. Endowing came up with 10, Farage quite nicely drawn in 6th, and Archimedes 2, Pleasure Gains on the fence, in Same World and Helene Superstar. They went back on Helene Superstar last time as well. I just wondered what role, whether he'd be an on-pace runner or they'll ride him cold again.
I've got him going forward, Darren. I think they will. I mean, he won that way. And Tony Cruz has Blazing Speed in there, and he's drawn awkwardly. The barrier draw wasn't kind to Blazing Speed, so I think they will go forward with Blazing Speed as well. But it's for me, the pace was good to fast. I think Helene Superstar Same World will be rolling. I mean, John Moore wouldn't mind Same World rolling along for Designs on Rome either. I think Pleasure Gains will be handy, but the barrier's been very kind to Farage. Drawn 6. I've got this marked favourite in the race at 4 to 1 or $5. I think he'll get the 1 out, 1 back. He races handy, and he won't have to do any work to get there. Designs will get back anyway from the gaiters, along with California Memory. Endowing's drawn tricky. But it's an issue, the barrier, for Military Attack and Blazing Speed, both of them. Because I don't think Farage will be handing up the one-off spot. And where does Zach Purton slot in on Military Attack from 8? And what does Neil Callan do on Blazing Speed from 12? I don't think they'll go back with Blazing Speed from there. So they'll have to, both of them will have to do a little bit of work early.
I'm more worried for Neil's point of view on Blazing Speed, because with Zach, he always just seems to have that knack of finding that spot in.
Yeah. And Neil's mentioned too in the past that one of the keys to Blazing Speed racing so well is getting him to settle in the run. So if he has to work hard from a wide gate, he may be difficult to get him back underneath him and get him to settle.
Well, Cirrus is 8 now. How's his work?
Well, it's okay. I mean, what can you say? We've seen him plenty of him, and he's often travelled here looking good and feeling well. So Corrine seems very happy, his trainer, and his designs on Rome. This horse is peaking. And interesting, John Moore just giving a little bit more workload to Designs on Rome leading into this than he has into some other races. They've always had this day in mind. I think Designs, you'll see the real deal there on the weekend, and yeah, he'll be a big chance. Military Attack looks fit, looks well. I think the work's been solid without being special, but he's never really been a good worker, Military Attack. But Casper Founds has done a great job with him. Criterion, I must say, didn't really like the look of Criterion. To me, there was a little issue travelling, looked a bit light. I wasn't overly impressed with the work. I don't know what, I mean, if he's a horse that just naturally is quite sort of lightly framed or you know, almost looks a bit tucked up at the moment, but I wasn't really that taken with him. Farage I thought looked fantastic. This was good work earlier in the week. I think Roger Varian will be very happy with the way this one's arrived from Australia, and looks in good order. Archimedes couldn't fault, another one that galloped well for the Japanese connections, and I think they'd be happy enough. Look, first up after such a long absence, I know has raced well fresh, but I've got my concerns. I wouldn't say the horse looks unfit, but you just wonder, is there enough residual fitness there after such a long time off? It's a tall order, 9 months. It's not the sort of 3 or 4 month freshen up. This is 9 months.
He'll come under close scrutiny in the paddock there on the weekend. Well, let's once again hear from Tony Cruz, who speaks about his 3 charges in this race.
Tony, the Longines Hong Kong Cup, you're dual-handed. Firstly, let's talk about the old boy, California Memory. He's another one who's had some issues, but, you know, you look like you've got him peaking at the right time.
Yeah, he's won that 2011, 2012, 2013 he was sick and he missed that big race. Now he's 8-year-old running in 2014, so I believe he still has a good chance. He's at his fittest now.
I mean, the barrier didn't make much difference. He'll drop out. Where is he probably in terms of, you know, it was in the past. Obviously, he's an aging galloper for you, but how happy are you with him going into this?
Well, I'm very happy. He's the fittest ever since. His last run on the trial was, it was held up in the top of the straight. He was trying to go through a gap that never opened, just held him up. But I reckon he could have done better than when he finished his 4th off, about 1 length behind. But today, I reckon we're going to run a bit quieter game. He's always have to come from behind. He's a very patient horse. We just got to be patient with this horse because of his draw, you know.
Let's talk about Blazing Speed. He's often the forgotten horse, but you look at his overall record and it's absolutely fantastic. He's thriving. Yeah, the syndicate asked me to do the barrier draw, so anyway, I believe he's 100% fit. Even though he's got that kind of draw, we could be waiting on the outside. It's handy even. And I believe he doesn't have to be covered up. He can just wait just like that, you know. Yeah. He's not the type of horse that will pull. One year we had an incident in the Gold Cup where he had a horse. We cut across one horse and jockey got suspended. Anyway, there's got another horse was galloping on his heels. That's why he was pulling and didn't finish well in that race, you know. But I believe this horse, he's a horse that can wait even though you don't have no cover on him. And also, you're happy with the way he's come out of the last race. It was a tough win. He beat the same field or similar field, so, you know, he shows he can do the job. Definitely, he came out of the race very well. I'm very happy with him. He's 100% fit this time.
Wouldn't that be a special achievement if California Memory could make it 3 wins in this race?
Wouldn't it, Darren? Yeah, what a great horse he's been. I actually thought he was a great chance in the lead-up and he ran particularly well. There is a lot of pace in the race, so the barrier looks against him, but with the pace in the race, he might be able to close off. Endowing's racing well. In fact, there's probably not a great deal between all of them here, is there? And they've all sort of drawn a little bit awkwardly.
No, there's not. They have. I mean, Design's drawn well, doesn't need the barrier. Yeah. He'll get back.
The others are all a little wide. And
they're all wide, yeah. Look, Blazing Speed for me, I mean, if he drew a gate, he could have been a big chance. Now the jury's out and Military Attack, it's still a little tough envy. He won't be too far away. But I think Designs, John Moore's sort of obviously had these big races in mind and he's had a nice prep. I like the last one. I know a few were disappointed, but I think his work since has been great. And for me, of the locals, Designs on Rome is the one.
Well, Cirrus de Zeg is back for his 5th tilt at the Hong Kong Cup, and Clint at the barrier draw caught up with his trainer, Corinne Baran-Barb.
Trainer of Cirrus de Zeg, Corinne, how's the old boy travelled to Hong Kong this time?
He seems to be very, very happy. He recognized everything, and this morning he was very proud and enjoying seeing the other. You know, he watched the other and say, you're too fit, you're not fit enough, and he's joking, and we are joking with him.
Yeah, he's enjoyed a great year once again back in Europe, so he's getting better as he gets older in some respects.
Yes, and this year he won 3 Group 1 in a row. The first one of the year, just after being second in Dubai Shema Classic, was to win Prix Gannet beating Trev, and then he won Prix d'Ispahan beating the winner of the Prix de la Forêt, and then we went to Epsom to beat Flintshire in the Coronation Cup, which is a great line. Flintshire finished second in the Arc and second in the Breeders' Cup. So I think all the lines are good, and the big challenge for Cyrus is to win the Cup this year.
Yeah, well, it is a challenge, and why do you think it is in the past he hasn't managed to do that? Because his form really has been impeccable in Europe, but in Hong Kong he hasn't sort of brought his absolute best, it seems.
Maybe he wants to keep the best for the end. No, I think he needs to adapt, and maybe the straight line is not so long as it's in Europe. He had been unlucky sometimes. One, he got the draw 13, and he had to do all the way in the outside. It didn't help. In 2011, he was a bit boxed in. Just after a furlong, it was finished, and he finished very, very well. So if you keep in mind all this, with the good draw we have this year, it might be the right year.
Yes, last year he drew barrier number 10, but his last run, were you concerned by that? Beaten about 6 lengths as a short price favourite?
Yes, and prior to that, he was disappointing. Well, he won and then lost the race in the Stewardship over in France. But actually, it wasn't his best performance. It was coming back after a long layoff. We all thought after that Coronation Cup, which he won and then limped off, we thought that might be the end of him. So she's done tremendously well to get him back. For me, though, he still needs to prove he's as good as he was at the end of last year, and I just don't think he is.
Let's focus on Archimedes now. A very interesting runner from Japan, now raced in Dubai Interest, and this was his second placing in the Group 2 over 1,800 metres in Japan.
Yeah, his quality horse, obviously the key to his chance there is, can he go in first up, not racing for 9 months. But you go back through his form, he was less than 2 lengths behind Just Away as a 3-year-old. He was 2 lengths behind Spielberg, who ran 3rd in the Japan Cup recently and won a big race in Japan not that long ago. And then form behind Just Away the last time he raced. So definitely has the quality. By Admire Moon, we saw him here in Hong Kong many years ago. Darren, Admire Moon, he was a quality horse. I think he's got what it takes, but that long gap between his runs is obviously the question everybody's looking for the answer for.
Farage, what a big run by him in Melbourne in the McKinnon Stakes. It was his only run in Victoria. He was up on the pace all the way, no cover, and ultimately got swamped, but I think he won plenty of hearts this day.
He's a good horse. I don't think he's good enough, to be honest. I think he's just a length or 2 short at top international Group 1 level, but no denying this was a very, very gutsy run, and he was perhaps a bit unfortunate to be run out of it. He holds the verdict with Criterion there. I just think he just lacks, as I said, a length or 2, that little bit of class, but I'd love him to win because he's another Dubai one.
How did you rate him, Brett?
I didn't think the McKinnon was that strong this year, Darren, so I'm a bit like Laura. I'm not sure if he's quite got the class. And Criterion, as Clint mentioned before, he hasn't been a horse that's taken my eye since he's arrived here.
No, they would have been hoping for rain. It's going to be sunny on the day as well, but not that he doesn't act on good going. I don't know about Farage. I think he is good enough. Like I said, I got him marked favourite. He'll get the right run. He's fit, he's travelled well and worked well, so it's his tallest order probably. I mean, he'd need to produce a career best to win it, but I think he might do that.
Yeah, I think he's got a big heart there. He keeps trying and goes along.
Well, I mean, he should have won the McKinnon Stakes. He should be a Group 1 winner.
So. The Pleasure Gains, same world. They're both going to be big price runners.
Good handy horses,
if they could run
Darren.
5th, they'd be elated.
Yeah, they're good handy horses, but they're not international Group 1 horses.
Well, final selections for the race.
I've gone with Designs on Rome. I went round and round with this race. I think it's one of the most open of all of them. I just think they've got him ready at the right time, so I'm going with the locals.
Yeah, I was going to go with Designs on Rome, but I'm just going to go with the Japanese horse Archimedes first up, the big question mark. But Archimedes, for me, if it is an Archimedes, I think like Clint said, Designs on Rome's had the perfect prep. His last run was good and he might be the one to win it.
Yeah, I think for the locals, he's the best chance. But I'm going to go with Farage. I've marked Farage favourite. Should get the right run, just behind the speed, drawn well. And I thought the run in the McKinnon was terrific. So could be victory here for Britain.
Yeah, I'll make it a 2-0 vote for Farage as well. I was quite taken with the performance in the McKinnon, and the overall form looks quite solid. And I just think he'll be very well positioned in the run. So Farage for me as well. Well, we've certainly given you plenty of variety in the selections tonight. Laura, it's been great to have you a part of the program. Thank you very much. I hope I at least managed to get one right.
As long as you enjoy the day.
Indeed, I definitely will.
It'll be a great one. OK, well, you'll be able to tune in to our coverage, and there'll be live streaming as well available on the internet for the first time if you are watching from various parts around the world. And we'll join you on Sunday. Good night. Good night.